Right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our first subject of the day, and of course, it is the Disney earnings call, quarter one, fiscal year 2024. It's been a disaster for Disney, massively for a long time. They just to catch everyone up to speed, if they didn't know, on the this week leading up to the earnings call, Nelson Peltz was chumming up with Elon Musk at a red carpet event. Elon Musk was dropping truth bombs on Twitter for a DEI agenda. Gina Carano is now suing Lucasfilm and Disney. Proxy war with another investor, shareholder, Blackwell's Capital. It is a shit show with Bob Iger at Disney. But don't take my word for it. Ladies and gents, on your favorite podcast, the Hcast, we have a Disney investor here, Mexican Iron Man. It's the guy who has invested too much money in Disney, and hopefully he'll get that back. But he was on. Let's get his thoughts. I want your initial thoughts, just overall, on how the earnings call went and what your perception was as someone who's personally invested with Disney.
Yeah, I mean, so I have two reactions just overall, and then we can get into the details as the show progresses. On the one hand, I should be extremely happy because it's up $12-13 since yesterday, right? I mean, right now it's at 111.22. It's gone up over 12-13% just in the last 24 hours. So I should be ecstatic that I've started making progress. And for those who didn't see me on a previous show, I had a couple blocks of stock that I've had for a long time, and then I reinvested them at 172, 180, into 172, 174, and 178. So those are my positions. I'm obviously way below that. I got a couple blocks, of shares. Blocks are, I mean, I don't have a lot. I mean, I think I got like 1,200, give or take. But I certainly am very upside down because of that decision that I made. So I probably will never I don't know when, if ever, I'll get back to what my basis is, but that's not that. Here's what came out for me yesterday. On the one hand, I should be extremely happy because there's been a huge bounce back. Getting back to 111, 112 is very favorable when you look at the longitudinal the last year. But I'm pretty depressed and I'm pretty worried because yesterday's call told me three things. They don't know where they're at. They don't know what they've done doesn't work, and they're not willing to admit it or fix it. And they do not have a roadmap for the long-term future, because the reason that this stock is going up is because the investor holders on Wall Street, not people like me, not people that own, people like me that own 50 shares, 100 shares, 10 shares, 500 shares, 1,000, 2,000. The people that, the large institutional firms, they believe Bob's bull crap. And yesterday was a BS session. It was I'm going to use what Andre said. Andre said it best on Midnight Edge. He said it was an hour of gaslighting is what happened yesterday. And and they're focused on the revenue, and they focused on the earnings per share being up 50%. Look, dudes, I got my 33-cent dividend, and now I'm at 45 cents. I'm not happy for the fact that one share of stock. And let me break it down. Imagine you spent 98 bucks on something. You spent 98 bucks on something. Forget me and that I'm upside down. Let's just say you bought it a year ago at 95 to 100, and you just got 33 cents back. You should not be happy. You also should not be happy that you get 45 cents back, which was the announcement yesterday. On top of that, there was a lot of BS announcements. I'm sure you're going to cover them as we go through that. But listen to the CEO tell me that he's most happy that he's going to get Nick Saban, a college football coach, to be an announcer. Taylor Swift's concert's going to be on Disney Plus, and he's teaming up with Fortnite to spend $1.5 billion on Fortnite. You know what I learned is that my stock's gone up, but my stock's gone up because Bob Iger is a bullshit artist. And the people on Wall Street believe his bullshit. And because they believe his bullshit, they think that this company is going in the right direction, when in reality, this is all smoke and mirrors. And Bob Iger is just trying to buy his way out of the bad position he's in. I got told that all I have to look forward to in Star Wars is the Acolyte this year and the Mandalorian Grogu movie next year. And as a longtime Star Wars fan, I say this to Bob.
Right. Well,
so
good to
I'm
get
happy
your
today.
overview.
It's kind of like saying, "Hey, Mexican Iron Man, are you happy today?" Yeah, I'm happy tomorrow, but I'm stressed out, worried. I'm happy today, but I do not believe that my a year from now, 6 months from now, or 2 years from now, He cannot keep buying his way and lying his way out of the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are the parks are old and dated and need to be updated. Universal, as you covered it in that great video you did last week or the week before,
Mhm.
Universal, Nate, Universal is on their ass in terms of the parks. Their movies suck, their TV suck, their streaming sucks. And I'm watching Bob tell me that he's basically going to transform Disney into a sports gambling, betting, Taylor Swift, TV, movie, concert showing, Star Wars destroying, Marvel apathetic piece of crap company that's all smoke and mirrors. And I'm pissed. I mean, am I happy the day that I'm at 111? I guess, but this
Yeah.
doesn't make me feel good. So that's my
Well,
overview.
it's no tangible movement, quite frankly. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I want to touch on initially, and we've got a lot to talk about today. But I wanted to touch on because you said bullshit artist, and I think that's a fascinating sort of jump off point, quite frankly. 1.3 million subscribers were dropped from Disney Plus. They lost 1.3 million subscribers because, of course, they increased the prices, right? And now the loss of Disney Plus has shrunk by $300 million. This is not a tangible profit that they're making. This is a tax write down year on year for the setup cost of Disney Plus. So this is no actual tangible profit. It's just a write down year on year of the value of the initial investment. Now, I wonder what you thought of this, Mike, because they lost 1.3 million subscribers, and the way and that was by raising the prices, and the way to get subscribers back, not the subscribers that they lost, because of course prices too high, so they're left because of monetary reasons. But the way they want to get new subscribers to replace those 1.3 million is to do a password sharing crackdown, because that's the only reason you would do this, is because you want to crack down on password sharing. I've no idea why that thing appeared on my face there. That was really odd. Weird. And you crack down on password sharing because you're going to try to convince the individuals that are essentially stealing content as per this sharing thing to then sign up for their own account. So, what do you think of that, Mike? Initially, was there
I think
something which was
it's a copycat Netflix strategy because they're trying to copy what Netflix did because it worked for Netflix. That's why they originally announced this way back when. And what ended up happening here's what happened on that Zoom call or in that earnings call.
mm,
What happened on the earnings call is this: if you see through the BS, number one, they lost subscribers because once they eliminated the password sharing, people said screw it. The ones that stayed, they increased the price. So all you heard about yesterday on the streaming on the earnings call was that, oh look, streaming average revenue per user is up. Well, it's up because number one, you're talking about core subscribers, which are the paying ones, and everybody that didn't want it left. No one annied up, and the ones that were left just ate the price increase. That has nothing to do with whether there's good content. That has nothing to do with growth. And even more insulting was that they predicted that they said that in the next few months, several months, that they expect to get 6 million more new subs. How are you going to get 6 million new ones when you just lost 1.3 mil? Get
but
out of
where's
here
that
with
going to
this
come
stuff.
from as well? What do they think that's coming from? I think they actually do think that they have somewhere in the region of 3 to 6 million people that are password sharing. That is honestly, I think, where they're, because they have to model it off of something, don't they? They have to model that,
They
where they're
do.
getting that from
They do.
somewhere. I think
Maybe
it's
they're
from that.
maybe I'm missing the demand. Maybe Taylor Swift will save the day and everybody will want to come to Disney Plus because that's going to be the exclusive place you can see this Eros concert this year.
But people
I don't
saw
know.
it in theaters. They went to the theaters. It made
I
loads of
know that's
money
what
in
I'm saying.
theaters.
They already did. I really don't understand, Nate. I don't, Nate. You're asking me to explain the strategy. The strategy is moronic. This, and even more moronic is the fact that they're trying to. We're not even there yet. I know you're going to talk about it later, but this announcement on the Fortnite,
Yeah.
Bob needs to give this up. And as someone who has a lot of streaming services, I still and there's no value. They're getting their asses whooped by Netflix and Amazon left and right, and they're I can't see any reason why there's a compelling business case to be made for the content that's on Disney Plus, let alone the bundled package.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
legal for them to mislead like they're investors like that.
Yeah.
They're not so
I
much
think
trying to mislead investors as they're trying to repackage and wordsmith the institutional investors so that they believe Bob's bullshit.
Mm. Well, what was so fascinating about this was people were like, "Oh, he's upbeat because it's the loss of Disney Plus is down to 300 as opposed to 500 million." So it's like, right? Sorry, what? You're trying to sell that as a positive? I mean, it is.
He's like,
It's not a
instead of
great
10
positive,
leaks
though.
in the boat, now we only have 4.
Exactly
The
that.
boat's still sinking.
Exactly. Can I mention that this isn't going to do nothing but cannibalize their ARPU, because you're going to offer more people opportunity to see your things at a discounted price. They're already having to have discounted prices to get people to stay or come back to the service. This is, I mean, the definition of asinine, in my opinion. Not to mention the fact that the only reason that they feel good about these margins is because they're going to cannibalize Hulu when they combine these two services, when they have actual control of them, which they
Oh, do
still
you think
don't.
that's where they're getting some of that 6 million figure from? Then actually, that makes sense.
Well, I think that Disney is really good at obfuscating things. They are misleading. I mean, Mike said it specifically, and I agree with him wholeheartedly, and I agree with what Andre said. This is a shell game for Disney at this point. They're not doing anything that is moving anything forward. They're not creating value for shareholders. They're acquiring garbage. I mean, we'll get to that in a moment because I know we've got plenty of these headlines, but that's their path forward, is through acquisition. They're not substantially increasing shareholder value with that, because those are temporary solutions, and we'll.
But also,
go ahead.
something to consider, which is hilarious, is that they've got themselves into this rut with content, and unless and people waiting to watch it on Disney Plus. So their aim is to increase the subscriber base of Disney Plus. How are you going to mitigate people just waiting to watch your crap on Disney Plus? Like, what are you trying to achieve here by full steaming into this streaming business? You've now destroyed your movie business. I mean, they've destroyed their movie business anyway, but they have absolutely destroyed their movie business, because that's where you make profit. Or potential to make profit, anyway.
This is where Tom and I
the potential to make profit on streaming it's not there. So you're actively trying to get more subscribers to lift a sinking ship that is going to sink anyway because it's rotten, and then now you got two ships sinking. Oh, good times, idiots.
Well, and this is where Tom and I usually go into our favorite rant, which is they've cannibalized 4 other avenues of revenue. Take it away, Tom.
Oh, this is all I have to say about this.
Well, what kind of dumb shit did Bob say this week?
Wow, I love that. You know what? Showing up today that's the first time I've smiled, I think, in 24 hours. Wow. That
love it.
But the thing I was trying to get Tom to talk about is the fact
for basic revenue streams.
I mean, go ahead.
Tom, it started out, you had your theatrical run, which generally could run from 4 to 6 months, depending on how hot your movie was. Then you had your home video and video on demand run, and that would run 6 to 8 months after the fact, a year sometimes if it was a bigger movie or more. And then generally a year or so after the film would come out, then it would hit cable. That was a nice payday for them. So you get your HBO money or your Showtime money. Then the network money would come in, because after 2 years, then it would hit the network premieres. And that's some nice cash as well. So you had all these revenue streams plus DVD, Blu-ray, all that stuff over time. And DVD was one of those things where Matt Damon had talked about this before, and he's right, where the industry used to be able to take chances on different kinds of movies, because even if they didn't necessarily always make their money in the box office, they knew they'd make it up on the back end with the DVD sales, the cable sales, network sales, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they don't have all those avenues now for revenue, especially when you're selling your movie to yourself.
Yeah.
like Disney does.
But yeah, it's not even as if they're selling it to another streaming platform where they can get money off of there as
Right.
well. So
And like getting like this Taylor Swift thing, okay, that's cool for Disney, but now basically you're paying out now for stuff that you should be making in house, right? Like
mm,
we don't know how much they paid, but we can imagine they probably paid at least $200 million to get the rights to Taylor Swift streaming. Why didn't
yeah,
they just get a bunch of their Disney singer people together and go, here, go out and do a concert and do it themselves and do their own thing, right? And put that on
yeah,
Disney Plus. That would have cost them next to nothing, and they wouldn't have had to spend out the money. Now they're just doing what Netflix was doing before. So you
yeah.
basically got yourself back around to that. Good job. Only you're spending
But
the
with
money
a
now,
much,
not Netflix. Yeah.
but with a much smaller content base because they're not acquiring loads of other stuff like Netflix does. Bad times. Mike, do you have anything you want to add to this one at all?
Well, no, I mean, I think I said my comments at the beginning of the segment, and it baffles me that people are still buying into. No one's looking.
Let's try this. Actually, let's try this. What would you, as if you were put in charge of Disney right now? We'll do this with each segment, right? What would you do with Disney Plus? As someone who's invested in Disney, what would you do?
So
What
okay,
would
so
you
I'm
do
gonna
with
go
Disney
back.
Plus?
I'm gonna go back to why I originally subscribed. Let me tell you this story. I don't know if I've ever talked about this many places on any live stream, but to me, the value of Disney and Disney Plus is when I first heard about it and I first subscribed, I envisioned something that whether it was me, my 10-year-old, my mom, whatever, just a intergenerational watching of the classic properties in a heartwarming family environment and the streaming service. And as new releases came out in the movie theater, they would move to that and it would be that kind of experience. What I didn't expect is I didn't expect that to see them basically turn their back on their old content, not featuring the historical library that we all have grown up with and our parents grew up with, and worse, that they would cannibalize feature film releases and put substandard, subpar properties on this thing just to flood it, like what they did with Marvel. So what I would have done is I would have curated the historical library that made Disney as a company great, and I would have used it as my direct streaming service once I had A, released it in theaters, B, put it out on physical media, and then C, let it come out so that the content would be a great curation of the historically great properties combined with ultimately the whole family could enjoy them long after the theater, and whether or not we bought them on physical media or not. That is what I would do. I would repurpose the entire platform to be that for a digital age versus what they were doing now, which is trying to chase Netflix with substandard products, substandard releases, and a monthly bill for the streaming service that doesn't have the same value that you pay similar dollars for on Amazon or Netflix.
Okay, I like it. I think that about rounds out that initial group of headlines.